There's a quiet knowing stirring inside you right now, a whisper you felt for a while but couldn't quite name. It's the sense that your life has been looping, not just repeating, but reconstructing the same reality over and over, as if your awareness is caught in a cosmic echo chamber. You're not imagining it, you've been living inside what quantum physics quietly calls a consciousness trap, an invisible architecture where your attention keeps collapsing the same probabilities from the infinite field of what's possible. Same emotions, same conversations, same patterns showing up in different disguises. And the reason these words resonate so deeply, it's not coincidence. It's quantum synchronicity, your soul broadcasting a frequency so precise, the universe had no choice but to respond with this exact moment of clarity. Out of billions scrolling through noise, only a certain kind of awareness would pause here. Yours. Because you carry something rare, the awakened observer. This isn't mysticism, it's science. Your consciousness doesn't just watch reality, it co-creates it through the quantum observer effect. But here's the hidden twist. When your attention runs on autopilot, drawn again and again to familiar pain, predictable outcomes, or recycled fears, you don't just experience repetition. You assemble it. Every morning, before you even open your eyes, your awareness scans the quantum field for what it already knows. Not because you want to suffer, but because the nervous system equates familiarity with safety. And so, you keep selecting the same slice of possibility, reinforcing it, solidifying it, until it feels like fate. But you've felt the glitches. Those uncanny moments when a conversation unfolds word for word like you've lived it before. When time stretches thin during routine tasks, yet whole months vanish without progress. That's not your imagination. That's your quantum perception waking up, sensing the loop, sensing the trap, sensing the illusion of movement while your consciousness stays stationary in the field. And yes, this has happened before, not just in this lifetime, but across dimensions. Every book that called to you, every teaching that lit you up, every inexplicable knowing that arrived like a quiet download, they were all breadcrumbs from your future self, guiding you back to this threshold. But here's where most get stuck. They try to think their way out. They study the map of the labyrinth, but never take a single step into a new corridor. Freedom doesn't come from understanding the trap. It comes from shifting the quality of your attention. The observer trap isn't held together by your thoughts. It's held together by where you place your awareness. And right now, as you recognize this pattern, something profound is already shifting in your quantum field. Because awareness dissolves illusion. Just by seeing the loop, you begin to step outside it. You're not broken. You're not behind. Every stuck relationship, every recurring obstacle, every moment that felt like regression was a mirror. A sacred reflection showing you exactly where your attention had become habitual, where your frequency had grown rigid. Think of the caterpillar in its chrysalis. From the outside, it looks like stillness, like waiting, like loss, but inside, total cellular reorganization. A rewriting of genetic expression to activate wings that were always there, just waiting for the right frequency of awareness to unfold them. That's you now. What you're feeling right now, that inner hum, that quiet turbulence, that sense of being on the edge of something vast, isn't anxiety. It's your quantum field reorganizing itself. Just as water doesn't decide to become steam, it simply reaches a temperature where transformation is inevitable. Your consciousness is approaching its own phase transition, a precise frequency where the observer trap can no longer hold you. And every moment of doubt, every time you questioned, is this real? Or just hope, wasn't weakness. It was your discernment sharpening, your soul learning to distinguish true expansion from spiritual mirages. That's why the waiting felt so heavy. You sensed the shift coming, but no amount of effort could rush it. Because breaking free isn't about willpower. It's about coherence. When your inner frequency aligns with a new layer of possibility, your attention begins selecting different waves from the quantum field, not by force, but by resonance. So pause for just a breath. Ask yourself, what's one pattern I now see as part of my observer trap? Maybe it's a relationship dynamic that keeps replaying, a story about lack, a fear that masquerades as caution. Name it quietly in your heart, because your recognition isn't just personal, it ripples through our collective field, helping others awaken too. You didn't arrive here by accident. Your soul chose this lifetime, this exact era, because it knew this is when the trap would be seen and shattered. You're part of the first wave learning to live beyond repetitive cycles, not just for yourself, but for all who come after. And right now, as these words land, can you feel it? That subtle shift in your energy, like a tuning fork struck by grace. Your vibration is rising, and it no longer matches the old reality. This dissonance? It's not chaos, it's reality turbulence, the beautiful friction of the trap destabilizing. The magnetic pull of familiar pain is weakening. The loop is losing its grip. You're entering the breakthrough phase, the most delicate, potent moment of transformation. But here's where many stumble. They feel this rising energy and immediately try to use it to fix their external world, to manifest a new job, a new love, a new bank balance. But the trap doesn't break by changing what you observe. It breaks by changing how you observe. Right now, your cells are receiving an upgrade. Your DNA is softening into new instructions. Your nervous system is rewiring to hold a wider bandwidth of light. That's why your sleep feels different. Why certain foods no longer serve you. Why silence suddenly feels more nourishing than noise. Your role now isn't to control this process. It's to surrender to it. Let this energy move through you like a river carving its own path, without resistance, without agenda, because the moment you try to steer it, you risk pulling your attention back into the very patterns you're meant to release. Don't. Stay open, stay soft. This is evolution in real time, and you're witnessing it from the inside. I'll share something tender with you because I know you'll understand. Years ago, I thought I was free. I knew the language of quantum physics, manifestation, consciousness, but I was using that knowledge to build a smarter cage. Every morning I'd wake and scan my life for proof I was evolving, checking for signs, progress, validation. But that very act of seeking was freezing my reality in place. The breakthrough came not when I observed my life differently, but when I began observing the observer itself. I watched how my attention moved, where it clung, where it feared, where it assumed. And in that meta-awareness, everything shifted. Relationships transformed, not because I changed people, but because I stopped unconsciously selecting for the same old dynamics. Creativity flowed, not because I tried harder, but because my focus no longer fixated on obstacles. And I realized this isn't about being spiritual enough, it's about the mechanics of attention. Most consciousness operates like a laser, narrow, intense, always hunting for something specific. But quantum awareness, it's like sunlight, vast, gentle, present everywhere at once. When you shift from laser to light, you stop collapsing the same probabilities. You become unpredictable to the field. And that's when miracles find you. The truth no one tells you. Your thoughts don't create your reality. Your coherence does. And coherence can't be faked with affirmations or forced positivity. It blooms when your attention becomes fluid, when you stop ordering the same reality from the cosmic menu. Because here's the secret the universe has been whispering. It's eager to give you new experiences. Infinite possibilities are knocking, but they can't enter while your focus is busy reinforcing yesterday's story. You're not stuck because the universe forgot you. You're on the verge of remembering who you've always been. Your body is changing in ways science can't yet explain. Chronic patterns dissolving, not through force, but through new information. Your cells are finally receiving signals of peace instead of stress. Your energy isn't just higher, it's stable, because you're no longer exhausting your life force fighting loops that were never real. The observer effect is no longer your prison. It's your portal. Now every time you look at your life, you're not scanning for lack, your collapsing beauty. Not because you're trying harder, but because your awareness has learned to rest in coherence, the sacred alignment of your thoughts, emotions, energy, and deepest knowing, all humming the same frequency. And in that resonance, everything shifts. Money flows, not because you mastered a technique, but because your consciousness no longer vibrates with scarcity. Relationships soften, not through effort, but because you're no longer compatible with souls still circling their own traps. Your circle evolves, not by rejection, but by frequency. But the deepest shift? You stop chasing a future self, because you realize you're already there. You were never broken. You were only observing from a fragmented lens. And now, in this moment of recognition, a peace arises, not built on hope, but on direct knowing. Here's what most miss. Coherence isn't about forcing all your parts to agree. It's about stopping the scatter. Right now, part of you is still replaying the past. Another part is anxious about tomorrow. Only a sliver is truly here. That fragmentation keeps you straddling timelines, which is why some days feel magical and others feel stuck. The quantum field can only deliver a coherent reality to a coherent consciousness. So true transformation begins with timeline consolidation. Not visualizing a better life, but withdrawing your attention from every version of yourself that isn't aligned with your highest potential. This isn't imagination, it's dimensional sovereignty. And the miracle? You don't create coherence, you uncover it. Because at your core, you were never fragmented, only your attention was trained to believe you were. When you return awareness to its natural, unified state, coherence isn't achieved, it's remembered. And in that remembering, you stop having a personal reality. You become a focal point, a living channel through which the universe experiences its own creativity. Your life is no longer a story of struggle, it's a work of cosmic art. This is how observer traps dissolve permanently, not by fixing yourself, but by realizing there was never a you separate enough to be trapped. And this isn't just happening to you. Right now, thousands across the planet are breaking free, not as isolated seekers, but as pioneers of a species-wide leap. You didn't incarnate by accident. You came now because Earth herself is shedding a collective observer trap that has recycled war, scarcity, and separation for millennia. Your liberation isn't just personal, it's planetary. Every time you break your loop, you send a morphic ripple through the field, making it easier for others to wake up. So if this transmission lit something ancient in you, if your bones are humming with recognition, I invite you to make one simple, powerful declaration. In the comments below, write just one word, coherent. Not for the algorithm, not for likes, but as a quantum vow, a signal to the field that you're ready to embody the frequency where all observer traps dissolve. Each time someone writes this word with true intention, the morphic field strengthens, the path clears, the new reality anchors. This isn't just a community, it's a consciousness network, and you are its living architecture. Breaking the observer trap is only the beginning. The old world is dissolving. The question isn't if you'll enter the new one, but whether you'll help birth it. Your future self is already living in infinite possibility. Today, your present self catches up. You are coherent. You always were. And your quantum breeze is now a cosmic tide,